Welcome back everyone. Let's go and do a comparison between the Samsung Galaxy S22 and the Samsung Galaxy S10e and see which specific phone you should go and pick up. Now both these phones are beautiful. I like these phones a lot. The S22 is the better one to pick up, but it's very interesting because they're around the same size, which is pretty crazy. If you want to pick up either one of these phones, I'll find the cheapest prices on Amazon. Link them down in the description. You can get them from there and help support the channel at the same time. Now on the front of the Samsung Galaxy S10e, we do have a 5.8-inch dynamic AMOLED display, and it is a very good panel. I've had nothing but pretty much a good time with it. If you guys remember, this was kind of a budget phone when it first came out, so I actually do appreciate this phone a lot. It's a very compact phone as well. It's not a massive phone, and the S22 is kind of in the same footprint, which is very interesting. Whole bunch display in the top right corner, but it's a very good panel for sure. Now something like the Galaxy S22, this is a very good phone as well. 6.1-inch dynamic AMOLED display, so a little bit bigger than the S10e. But a big thing to keep in mind on this one, they're the same resolution, so 1080p here, but you do have a 120Hz panel here. So even though you're getting a bigger panel, it's higher resolution, you're also getting a 120Hz panel, which is very beautiful. So that's something I really do like on both these phones. Now in terms of thinness and thickness, they're both very good, looking phones too. I mean, they're both kind of the same thickness. So not really that big of a difference. They're both kind of the same thickness, although the S22 is probably a little bit thicker. And on the back, we have a dual camera setup on the S10e with a full glass back. The S22, on the other hand, has this frosted glass back, which definitely feels a much more premium triple camera setup on this device as well. But overall, you're getting a much better feeling phone and a much more premium feeling phone on the Samsung Galaxy S22. On the flip side though, on the S10e, you are getting the headphone jack and micro SD card slot on this phone. So it's not really like the S22 is perfect in every area. It is a better phone, but you're getting a USB Type-C port, headphone jack, and micro SD card slot. Where in this one, you're only getting a USB Type-C port, which is pretty crazy. But all is not perfect on the S10e. The biggest problem with this phone is the software, in my opinion. The S10e is really only going to be getting, I think, like one more version of Android, possibly, and that's it, if it's even getting that, which is a pretty big thing to keep in mind. On the S22, this is a phone that's going to last pretty much for a very long time. 4 years of OS updates and 5 years of security updates is what Samsung's saying, and that is a really bold claim. That's a ton of software for this type of phone. So I cannot wait for the future updates of this thing, and that's going to future-proof this phone like crazy. It's a very good phone in terms of software, and I cannot wait for the future of it. So that pretty much covers it up there. Now let's go and do a speed comparison between both these phones. The Samsung Galaxy S10e had that Qualcomm Snapdragon 855 chipset inside of it with 6 gigs of RAM on the base model and 8 gigs of RAM on the top tier model. This model has 6 gigs. Where the Samsung Galaxy S22 has that Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 chipset inside of it with 8 gigabytes of RAM. So let's go and see which one is the faster phone between both of these. Okay, there we go. Hopefully you guys can see it. Let's go and clear all the apps in the background, and they are all cleared out. Let's get into it. Let's do phone calls, 3, 2, 1. And kind of the same thing, not that big of a difference. Messages, 3, 2, 1. Kind of the same thing too. Let's go into their cameras, 3, 2, 1. And roughly around the same thing as well. Not that big of a difference. Hopping out of this one, let's get into their Galaxy stores, 3, 2, 1. There may be some differences here. Kind of some differences. I guess I never really logged in here. Play Store, 3, 2, 1. And I guess I do have to log back in onto this one. Totally okay. Let's get into some of these Google Apps locations real quick. Let's get into Google Photos, 3, 2, 1. I still may have to verify myself. But even then, I mean, the S22 is a little bit faster there. As always, I have a bunch of these third-party applications we can go and test out. Let's go ahead and do something like Dune, 3, 2, 1. And the S10e actually opened that up pretty fast. I'm actually kind of surprised by it. And the S22 was faster, but that was actually pretty close between both. Very surprising. Let's do Temple Run 2, 3, 2, 1. This actually may be the original Temple Run. I actually don't know. Okay, no, so they are different. And I don't know how this happened, but the Galaxy S10e is actually faster than the S22. Very surprising. I'm not really too sure what happened here. But dude, that's actually pretty crazy. The Galaxy S10e is doing a tremendous job against the Galaxy S22. Snake first block, 3, 2, 1. I don't know. I think the S22 is faster, but the S10e caught up very well as well. So that was very close. Hopping out of this one, let's go and get into stack, 3, 2, 1. The ad did load up faster here. The S10e was a little bit behind. Let's go and hop out of this one. I guess we have to log back in over here. So let's go and hop out of this one. Snapchat, which I am logged in here, so let's get that. Fruit Ninja, 3, 2, 1. So we are on, I think, 2 different versions of Fruit Ninja. So we won't really count this one. We'll just load it up in the background. But this one, again, I mean, it was a little bit faster here and there. So let's go and hop out of this one. Let's go and hop out of this one right here. Let's go and get into something like thank you. 3, 2, 1. Definitely faster on the Galaxy S22. And gameplay-wise, I think it's going to be roughly around the same. I don't think it's going to be that big of a difference. Let's get into BOFA. 3, 2, 1. And you can see again, I mean, I think the S22 is faster. It is telling us to, get into a little update there. But I do think, man, if I'm going to be completely honest, I'm actually pretty shocked by how fast the Galaxy S10e is in a lot of different areas. I mean, you wouldn't really expect this phone to be faster in really any area. And I really don't want the S10e to be faster, to be honest. I want the newer phone to be faster. But I'm honestly seeing a lot of overlap. There's really not that much craziness. I was expecting a bigger difference, and I'm not really getting that big difference. So when it comes down to it, I mean, if you have a Galaxy S10e, it's still a very fast phone. I'm honestly pretty surprised how great of a performing phone that is right now. So when it comes down to it, I would say the S22 is I want it to be faster. You're getting more RAM on this one. But the S10e is still a very, very fast phone too, and I'm honestly pretty shocked by it. So that pretty much covers it up there. Let's go ahead on the cameras. Now this is honestly a pretty big difference. The Samsung Galaxy S10e has a dual camera setup, a 12 megapixel wide angle lens and a 16 megapixel ultra wide sensor, where the Samsung Galaxy S22 has a 50 megapixel wide, 10 megapixel telephoto lens, then a 12 megapixel ultra wide sensor. Now, I mentioned for a while now, I think the S10e has a tremendous camera still for this day and age. The only thing is that it's missing that telephoto lens, and there's no 8K capability, but you can do 4K at 60 on the front and the back, which I still think is really, really good. That's like the cream of the crop. If you can do 4K at 60, that's perfect. And this camera still has a lot of capability. I do think with something like the S22, though, you're definitely getting much more capability, but you can see you still have a lot of the pro modes. You still have a lot of capability here with this camera, and I, for one, I'm a big fan of this lens for sure. Now, with something like the Galaxy S22, this is a perfect camera, really. I mean, 4K at 60 on the front, 8K capability on the back. This pretty much does everything you would ever want on side of a phone, and this thing has it all. I mean, you can really do anything with it. The camera quality is amazing. This is horrible quality right now, but even when I go into more, I mean, look, you're definitely getting more options from this camera over the other ones. So because of that, you are getting some really awesome capability, and that's something that's really cool. In my opinion, the Galaxy S22 definitely has a better camera, but I still think the Galaxy S10e's camera is really good. I would definitely upgrade because of the camera, but I wouldn't upgrade because of the camera, but it's a really cool feature for sure. Now, to kind of sum up this video, and to be honest, I am actually very, very surprised how great of a job Samsung did with the Galaxy S10e. I mean, the S22 is a better phone pretty much, mostly because of the software enhancements that they've done, but the S10e has held up extremely well. I cannot believe this thing has held up, I think, better than the Galaxy S10, even though the S10 was pretty smooth. This phone, for some reason, was flying through. I mean, it did a great job with the performance. It was beating my S22 in some areas. But the other thing to keep in mind is you're getting a micro SD card slot and headphone jack on this phone. You're getting still a really good quality phone inside of a cheap package, which is really cool in terms of the price tag. However, just because that isn't really everything, I mean, the software is the big thing. You're going to be getting a longer lasting phone from something like the Galaxy S22. And I think the battery life may be better on the S22 as well. In my opinion, I would recommend buying the S22, but if you currently own an S10e, I think I could recommend waiting out one more generation. I don't think you really need to go for the S22 right now. Although it's a really good phone, the S10e is still a tremendous phone for sure as well. So that pretty much covers it up. If you guys want to pick them up, like I mentioned, links are down in the description. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.